In Delhi, a gag order from the court has threatened a population of millions. A population so iconic that it is woven in the very fabric of the city. It is as iconic as the auto rickshaws present there. Yes, the Delhi court has said to remove all the stray dogs from the city. But why this order now and why is it happening today? There is a hidden epidemic under this and it is threatening the safety of the people of Delhi in the area around them. But what do these stray dogs do? Don't they need our protection? Don't we need to care for them? This is what we are going to be seeing in today's video. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Everything with Dr. James. Today we are going to be seeing about the recent court order which came on removing all the stray dogs from the streets of Delhi. Let's see the points for it and against it and how do we protect our dogs. Understand why would a city consider such an extreme measure. We need to understand the pressure cooker environment in which the city was in the past few years. In the first half of 2025 alone, there is around 35,198 cases of dog bites being reported in Delhi, of which it amounts to 2,000 bites per day. And who are being affected? Children. Simple people who want to go buy vegetables, the dog comes and bites them. Third thing are the homeless people who are sitting there. So the marginal people are being affected by this. But the dog bite alone is not the problem, but what it transmits because of the dog bite is the issue. Here comes rabies. Rabies is a disease with 100% mortality rate once the symptoms set in. 95% of the times the disease is transmitted by dog bites, and once the symptoms set in, we are going to treat them only symptomatically only. So the earliest intervention for rabies is to give the rabies vaccine immediately after the bite. Otherwise, once symptoms sets in, the treatment is only symptomatic. So there was an increase in the spike of the number of rabies cases happening in Delhi, which is why the court had to order this decision. In the last 1 year, in 2024 alone, national statistics shows that 3.7 million dog bites have been there, of which 54 rabies related deaths have been reported in India. But there are many deaths which go unreported, and some estimates say that the number is up to 180. In the last 6 months alone in Delhi, there have been 45 reported cases of rabies in Delhi. This is the reason why the court has ordered removal of all the stray dogs from Delhi. The numbers we are speaking are not just numbers, these are families which are torn apart by things which we are not in control of. You just go to a market to buy vegetables and suddenly a dog bites you and you die. The most media light came to this issue when a 6-year-old girl died of rabies. This is when the media took attention and made this issue viral, and the Supreme Court of India also intervened in this. The justice has told that, okay, you want these animals to be there in the street, but who will bring the lost children's life back? He enforced the Article 21, which gives every citizen of India the right for a safe environment. As swift was the court order, immediately protests started erupting all over India. People argued that this act is inhumane and where will the dogs go? Many dog lovers and community feeders also argued that this is inhumane because we are already putting a lot of effort and money to protect the dogs, and this is bad. PETA, an organization which protects these dogs, clearly stated that this is a direct violation of the Birth Control Act for these animals given in 2023 by the central government only, which looks at a controlled level of population for these stray dogs in the street. They say that they will sterilize these dogs in a systematic manner such that they will be there in the street, but the population will be less and the menace to public will be less. But they also say that government did not do this and they had 24 years to implement this act and they did not do it, because of which the dog population increased, and now suddenly they are putting this order and it is not fair. Also, another argument placed by the protesters is that the rodent population in Delhi is controlled by these stray dogs. Once these stray dogs go out of the street, the rodent population will increase and that will lead to menace in the city. Now, let's take for an argument that we are not listening to the protesters and we are going to start shifting these stray dogs. The question now comes, where are we going to house them? Now, let's see how many dogs are there in Delhi. The last report was done in 2012, that is 13 years back, and that report only says that there are 60,000 stray dogs in Delhi. Now 13 years have passed since. In the Delhi, Noida and Ghaziabad region alone, estimates indicate that there are around 1 million stray dogs. Right now in Delhi, there are 20 shelters which house dogs. These 20 shelters can house only 5,000 dogs. Already dogs are present there. Now we have to take the dogs from the street and house them here. Reports indicate that if million dogs have to be shifted like this, you will need to construct a lot of animal shelters, and the cost alone will come to 15,000 crore rupees, which is 1.8 billion US dollars. Which is not only the cost for that, you need to first find land to build these shelters and then build the shelters and then shift these dogs. Okay, you have shifted the dogs to these places. How are you going to feed them? This is what the protesters argue. They say that to feed a dog in a single shelter, you need so much money, with total amount amounting up to $600,000 per week. They say that this is a huge amount compared to the small amount which the government could have given to the NGOs, and they could have conducted the sterilization program in such a way that the dog population would have been reduced by now. Now, okay, we have shifted all the dogs to these shelters. Who is going to maintain them? We have to first maintain these dogs in the shelter, because they have to maintain in a humane way, and proper vaccinations have to be given to them to make sure no disease spreads along these dogs. So we need to train a workforce for it, which is also a logistical nightmare. Right now the government has given 8 weeks for around 5,000 dogs to be shifted. Imagine shifting for 1 million dogs, finding land, finding shelters, building them, the cost incurred. Okay, all this can be done. Now let's come to the primary aspect. How are we going to remove the dogs from the street? Dogs are scared. They will obviously come to attack you when you try to remove them. They are also animals. We are also like that. If somebody attacks us, we'll try to attack back only. So we need to find a humane way in which we are going to remove these dogs, because they also have to be protected. We can't just say that we can leave the dogs on the street. I agree, human life is important. There is no question of human safety over dog safety. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, we need to be careful and put a systematic method in which the dogs are removed from the street, and also start the sterilization program, because removing these dogs from the street alone is not going to solve the problem, because a new population of dogs will come in. That is for sure. This is nature that nobody can control. As long as rodents are there, food is available, obviously animals will come there. That is how we go. We go and settle in places where there is food and shelter available. Same way dogs do that. So we cannot tell them don't come here, because if you remove these animals, also a new set is going to come in. So we need to find out a middle ground in this. Systematically remove the dogs. Try to reduce the population by overcoming these sterilization methods. Give money to NGOs and they will conduct these sterilization drives such that over a period of time dog population will be reduced, and also start shifting these dogs slowly to animal shelters. Find out land, build shelters, and then shift these dogs. This is the solution for this, but this is a logistical nightmare to it. The cost incurred and the workforce involved. This is going to be a big challenge for the Delhi government to overcome all these obstacles. Now we have spoken both sides of the argument. We totally understand that human life is the primary goal and we have to protect it at any cost. But at the same time, we need to find a humane way to do this and not go through this sudden drive of trying to remove the dogs from the street, because that is going to turn out to be ugly. We have one side where people are saying that human lives are important. Of course, I agree with them, and that the streets of Delhi have to be protected. Children's lives are important, of course. So we have to be with their side of the argument. On the other hand, there are protesters who say that there were ways where you could have reduced the population, but the population was not reduced. So that side also we have to stand. Somewhere a middle ground has to be reached such that we find a humane way to reduce the dog population. At the same time, we will protect our citizens. Of course, our heart goes out to the loved ones who lost their lives because of rabies, and that should not happen again. And a systematic method has to be in place such a way that no more cases of rabies occur in India. Do like, share and subscribe me for more interesting